this AU chairperson, Faki Mahamat, really doesn't have anything to his name. We've gotten to the point where maybe some people have even to lay their lives for this thing to save Africa.
Connect Africa.
Hello, welcome, Advocate Sarfo, again. Welcome back on the show, Connect Africa.
Thank you very much for having me, Mahlet. Good to be with you again. Happy New Year to you and all your viewers.
Oh, same here. Happy New Year to you too, and to all our Ghanaian friends, sisters, and brothers. So for those of you who haven't followed up what we did a month or so ago, Advocate Sarfo was here as a guest and updating us on the coming up AU election, on the chairperson election. So we put a video saying that the controversial AU election. So what happened is Faki Mahamat, the current chairperson, is running unopposed for the coming election, which is held every 4 years in the African Union. So Advocate will update us what happened since his organization launched the campaign before, like months ago. Advocate, let me just give you the floor to remind us, just say a few words about yourself, and then, tell us what happened since last time.
Okay, as you indicated, my name is Advocate Sarfo Abebrese. I'm from Ghana, and I'm an attorney of the Supreme Court of Ghana, and also an advocate of the Supreme Court of New York in the United States of America. I'm the founder and the president of the organization called the Coalition of Supporters Unions of Africa, COSUA. This organization has been around for quite a time. We started working with the mandate of the African Union from 2007, and we eventually graduated to become a partner of the African Union. That was about 3 years ago in Addis Ababa, when the African Union signed the partnership agreement with my organization. So we've been functioning as more or less as an organ of the African Union, as a partner to the African Union. And it is in that capacity that we came up with an idea to try and see if we can get a change in the direction in which the African Union was going when last year, a couple of years ago, now we are in 2021, so yes, a couple of years ago, an issue arose in which a lot of people now started getting interested in the affairs of the African Union and the way the African Union is run. And that issue came up when the African Union ambassador to the United States at the time, current chairperson of the African Union. I'm talking of former AU ambassador to the United States in the name of Dr. Mrs. Harikana Chiombo-Rikwao, who was ousted or sacked by the chairperson, Mr. Faki Mahamat, on the orders, perceived orders. Yes, the current chairperson is Mr. Faki Mahamat from Chad, Madam Harikana Chiombo-Rikwao from SADC, from Zimbabwe. And she, as everybody, almost everybody knows now, she, in the course of her work, discovered that France was siphoning billions of dollars from Francophone African countries to the detriment of the people of Africa. So Madame Harikana Chiombo-Rikwao went to town with it and lambasted Macron and his regime and all the French. Instead of praising her, as many people in Africa were doing, we had a shock where the African Union chair decided rather to fire her. And that is where many people went berserk with anger and protestations and everything all over Africa for Madam Arikana Chiombo-Rikau to be restored to her position co-ante, but it never worked out because Faki stuck to his grounds, and it turned out that if she wasn't doing anything against Africa, she was rather doing something for Africa. She was rather attacking a superpower, a European superpower that was siphoning billions of dollars from Africa. And so many people perceived that Faki Mahamat was actually operating as a stooge of France. And that is where people started calling for his exit, you know, because if you are the head of the whole continent of Africa, and the African Union Constitutive Act is obliging you to do what is good for the continent of Africa, but you rather turn around a couple of years, there's been a lot of the state continuing as the African Union chairperson, African Union Commission chairperson. And a lot of water has passed under the bridge. You know, a lot of things have happened. And my organization, which is the Coalition of Supporters Unions of Africa, which is officially a partner to the African Union, has been in the fight, you know, to get a change at the AU Commission. Now, fast forward at the moment where we are now, we are barely just about 1 month, you know, to the elections at the African Union Commission at the 34th summit that is going to start at the end of this month and will run into February. We have nominations for the African leaders that are out. They've been shortlisted. We have nominations for the vice chairmanship, the deputy chairperson position, with nominations for all the commissioner positions, and they are all very, very highly competitive. But guess what? For the chairperson position, we don't have any nominations. We have only Almighty Faki Mahamat on the card, and he is running unopposed. It is a position that we have challenged all over as being undemocratic, but after all the fight, after all the talk, we still have a situation where 1 month down the line, you know, Faki Mahamat is still running unopposed adamantly, just the same way that, you know, he stood against all the public opinion and everything in Africa to insist that, you know, there's not going to be a recall for Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chiombo-Rikau. It's the same thing has happened. A lot of very bizarre things happened during the nomination process. Madam Arikana Chiombo-Rikau herself filed the nomination officially at the AU headquarters to run, you know, for that position of chairperson against her former boss, but that nomination got missing. We have the deputy chairperson of the African Union, the incumbent deputy chairperson of the African Union, in the person of His Excellency Ambassador Kwesi Korte, Thomas Kwesi Korte from Ghana, who was also motivated by many Africans to run for that position. And there were a lot of bizarre circumstances that occurred. And at the end of the day, his name was also missing, you know. So as it is now, if nothing happens, Faki Mahamat is the boss. He's going to get 8 years. For the first time, we're going to get an African Union chairperson that stays there for 8 years. And again, for the first time, we're going to have an African Union chairperson that ascends to the throne by running unopposed. And we say that is very, very wrong. That is very undemocratic. And we are urging, you know, African leaders to reject such an imposition of a very undemocratic and despotic rule on Africa and on all Africans. And that is why we're here.
Connect Africa.
So as we know, African Union is an intergovernmental organization. So it's not like the EU, which the union tells the states, the member states, what to do. So really the power lies within the head of states. So what mechanism are you going to use, really, like for him, like how many votes does he need out of the 55 member states? How are you going to approach it? Your organization, led by your organization COSUA, you did launch a campaign. If you just also update that, and you were able, I think, to gather millions of signatures out of that. So you, like, are we going to through all that signatures and supports collected throughout the world from from Africans at home and Africans in diaspora, like all their voices, is it just going to be thrown away and then now you have to approach another method? Is this because the nature of the African Union itself, because the power lies within the head of states as opposed to its citizens? Tell us about that.
Okay, I think I'll start by answering that question from my perspective as a lawyer. The African Union is run on the basis of law. We have the Constitutive Act of the African Union that was passed in 1999, 9th of September 1999, so we call it the 9999 Act, for the African Union. And the Constitutive Act is very clear that the African Union Commission, as headquartered in Addis Ababa, has to run under the Executive Council, the control of the Executive Council, or if you like, the Executive Committee of the African Union. And the Executive Committee is actually made up of the 55 heads of states of Africa at any given time. Anyone that is the president of your country at any given time is automatically a member of the Executive Council. Now, under the Act says that the chairperson, the deputy chairperson, and the commissioners of the African Union have to be appointed by the Executive Council. The Act also specifies, that anybody that is appointed into that position, has the African Union. It specifies that it is the AU Commission is the is like the office, the headquarters of the African Union, and you stay on for 4 years. And after 4 years, your term of office elapses, and then you are due for another appointment. The African Union Commission works in such a way that this appointment is actually done by voting by the heads of states of Africa. So in a month's time, they are going to converge. It's not very clear. I checked with some officials of the African Union earlier today. It is likely that because of COVID, they are not going to converge physically and personally at the AU headquarters, but they're going to vote, from their various counties. Whichever way it goes, they have decided that they will cast ballot to elect whoever becomes the head of the African Union Commission. Now, by the law, the African Union Commission elections, the one that runs as president, anyone that runs as the president, as the chairperson of the African Union Commission, has to get at least 2/3 of the votes of the heads of states. So yes, we have 55 countries of Africa, and we have law says that you have to garner, 2/3 majority votes before you can be sworn in as the winner of the elections, as the chairperson and the deputy chairperson.
So 2/3, that is around.
As we all remember, the last election 4 years ago, 2/3. So it means, therefore, that you know, you need to get, I think, 36 votes or 37 above,
yeah.
and then that is enough. Yeah. So in a situation where we have only one candidate, and this is the very first time this is happening, because if you remember, 4 years ago, in the first elections, we had 3 candidates, and none of them managed to get the 2/3 majority, so the elections were postponed. And, you know, Faki Mahamat got a chance to come in after it was postponed, and he joined the fray. We eventually had 5 candidates, because if you remember, the then chairperson, Madam Zuma from South Africa, insisted that 3 candidates wasn't representative enough. So she led a campaign to get the elections postponed. And after the postponement, we had a situation where we had 5 people and the votes was cast. Still, nobody got the majority. They went about 3 times before finally Faki Mahamat got the 2/3 majority to become the new African Union chairperson after Madam Zuma. Now, fast forward 4 years, we have a situation where instead of 3 people that in 4 years' time we said it wasn't enough, now we had only one. We had only one, and we've had only one throughout the nomination period. And we have cried out loud, as everybody knows, that look, if 3 wasn't enough at that time, 1 cannot be enough now. But no matter what we've done and said, with all the work that has been done, you made reference to the online petition that we filed, you know, about 4 or 5 months ago, globally on avaz.org, where we got over 20 million people signing onto the petition for the African Union elections to be postponed, you know, so that we get a more representative panel, despite all the work that institutions like the Kwame Nkrumah Ideological Institute did and all the other things, and even from the camp of Arikana Chiombo Rikwa herself, these people have stayed adamant. And 1 month to election time, we still have only 1 candidate. So for the first time in history, our presidents and heads of states in all the 55 countries of Africa are going to be presented with a ballot paper. And when they open that ballot paper, there is only one face and name on that ballot paper for chairmanship. For the first time in the history of Africa, our presidents and heads of states are not going to have an option as to who they vote to select to be their leader at the African Union Commission. For the first time in history, they are going to be told that there's only one person that you have to vote for. There's no option.
Very sad. Out of close to 2 billion Africans people, that there's only one person.
It is amazing, my sister. And we cannot understand why all our 55 heads of states have allowed us to come to this point.
Exactly.
We have very eminent leaders in the various countries. We've cried out loud, please postpone the elections and open up for more candidates to be filed, because this is democratic. We have to fight for democracy in Africa. And guess what? In each of the various countries, this thing will not happen. In each of the 55 countries of Africa, we have elections at the end of the term, and none of them would have agreed if at the time they ascended the throne, they were told that there is only one person on the ballot paper for president in your country, so you cannot run, you cannot file. If it had happened in their respective countries, they would not have agreed. You get my point?
Yeah.
They would have known that it was undemocratic. So how come they are being told to endorse something as undemocratic as having an incumbent that running unopposed, and none of them is raising any questions? It beats our mind, it beats our imagination. We cannot just understand what has happened to all our 55 leaders from Cape to Cairo. Nobody is seeing eye to eye with us that, look, this is just not right. So let's pause and do the right thing. So what we are telling them now is, yes, we've cried out loud, and up to now, Faki Mahamat is still insisting that he's the only one that can run as chairman for the African Union, and he's the only face and name on the ballot paper, and so vote for me. But guess what? There is, it is not all lost. There is a chance for democracy in Africa to prevail. And the chance is this. By the rules, as I said, he still needs to garner 2/3 of the votes, even if he's the only candidate. He cannot just say, oh, because I'm the only candidate, if even one person votes for me, I've won. Okay. That is not what the rules say. The rules say that even if he's the only candidate, he still has to get 2/3 or more than 2/3 of the votes. So what my organization is doing now, and we are happy to do it on your network. From today, we are launching our program that we've codenamed Agenda 19. Let me repeat that again. We call it the Catch 19 Agenda. Okay. Hashtag Catch 19 Agenda. What does that mean? We want up to 19 heads of states of Africa to stand up for African liberation, to stand up for African unity, to stand up for what Kwame Nkrumah and Shehu Shagari and all these leaders Pan-Africanism in the past, what they laid their lives for. We need 19 heads of states of Africa between now and the voting time to show their faces and to show that they really love Africa and they care about Africa. We want them to stand up and say, if you give me a ballot paper and there is only one face and only one name on that ballot paper, I am not voting. We need 19 of them to tell us that we love you, the children of Africa, we love the resources in Africa, we love the countries that we live. To Faki Mahamat to debate to us. Because guess what? We think it is even an insult. Yeah. But for the first time, they are forcing us down this ignominious road that will be a history of disaster for the continent forever. And we want them to realize that if Faki Mahamat presents a ballot paper to you for the voting, and he is the only name and face on that paper, you need to understand that he is actually insulting your intelligence. And that is where we want our African leaders to see it the way it is and to tell him that, look, I am not voting for any chairmanship position for the African Union if it has only one face and one name on it. That is not democracy. Any leader in Africa knows that if in his own country, this is the time he wanted also to be a leader, and he came up and filed his application or nomination or whatever, and the incumbent told him that the election we are going for, it is for only one man, he wouldn't have accepted it. And they would not be where they are now if that had been the situation in their various countries. So we don't need to tell them this is wrong. They themselves know it is wrong. But we don't know why they are lacking the courage to stand up now to say this is wrong. And so we will not do it. We need up to 19 of our posterity in Africa to rise up and speak for the 1.3 billion people on the continent of Africa, to rise up and speak for the 400,000 Africans in the diaspora that are saying, please stand up for the right thing and don't cast any vote on that ballot. Return it empty to them, because they are presenting a different bird to you and asking you to give that bird a name. Tell me which bird this is. A bird is identified by its feather.
Yeah.
So it's an insult to Mahamat to run this cajel or cabal with Macron from France dictating everything and telling us that 55 heads of states come and do a democratic election, but you don't have any choice who to vote for. They have a choice. They vote for nobody. And if African leaders disappoint all the 1.7 billion people now and still go ahead and accept to vote on a ballot that has only one person and one name on it, that would be a big disappointment that they are serving down the truth of the citizens of Africa that they rule in the various 55 countries.
Yeah, history will record their judgment, whatever they do on that ballot on that day.
Connect Africa.
What are the mechanisms that you are putting in place to approach this 19 head of states? Did you approach some of them so far? If you can say that on the media, like what is the way forward after this? How is this Agenda 19 going to be implemented?
We are approaching all 55 of them.
Okay.
Yes, we are ready to say everything. We're not hiding anything. You see, we've gotten to the point where maybe some people have even to lay their lives for this thing to save Africa.
Connect Africa.
Okay, so basically, as I've told you, we're launching this this Catch-19 agenda today on this your program, and from today we are reaching out to the various heads of states. What we're going to do is we're going to be serving out letters to all the missions in Ghana, in Addis Ababa, and in South Africa, so that we make sure that every head of state receives our petition to tell them that basically it is simple. We want them to know that if you open your ballot paper for the chairmanship and there's only one face and one name on it, consider it as an insult to your integrity and your wisdom and throw it away. Basically, that's what it is. Because if we get 19 heads of states to do that and not send any vote, then the law cannot be broken. The election will have to be rerun. And when the election is rerun, then the nominations will be reopened. And then we get a more democratic election to come up again. And then we can elect, if Faki Mahamat still wins afterwards, we don't care. But basically, there's something we also want to remind them of, that this AU chairperson, Faki Mahamat, really doesn't have anything to his name. I mean, let them tell us for the past 4 years that they elected him to be their leader at the AU. What really has he done for Africa? Look at all the things. I mean, sacking Arikana Chiombo Rikwao, that was rather defending Africa against the siphoning of billions of dollars from Africa into France. He sacked her. He sacked the African Union cyber security head, that is an Ethiopian national. And he put his own blood brother, Faki Moussa, from Ethiopia, from Addis. So, okay, Addis, and in Addis, you know, from Chad, his own blood brother from Chad, and he put him in place of the cyber security system for the whole of Africa. He fired the African Union Parliament Speaker in charge of the African Union Parliament in South Africa. and put another crony there, a clerk. And just now, right now, as we speak, we have a situation where the outgoing president of the United States of America, and this is very, very important because it's very sad. The outgoing president of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump, has gotten up to tell the whole world that he has gifted the Sahrawi Republic, which is the Western Sahara. He has signed an executive instrument to say that I am giving this country over to Morocco free. They should take it. And we have an African Union chairman that has been elected, okay, and has been given the authority, the mandate to defend. If you look at Article 3B of the AU constitutive law, the act, it says that his responsibility is to defend the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of member states, the independence of member states of African countries. That is the job that has been entrusted to him by the law, that it got him to be in that position. How many days now, how many weeks now since Donald Trump got up and said he has taken one country of Africa and he has given it to another country of Africa? And we have an African Union leader. We have a chairman of the African Union. Tell me, can anybody show me where the man has stood up and said, no, Mr. President of the United States, you cannot do that because I am here with the power and authority of the African people to defend the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Africa. Faki Mahamat has gone quiet since Trump signed the executive instrument. That is the kind of leader we are talking about.
Just to add on your point, the same thing also when Donald Trump said that Egypt now can go and blow up Ethiopian dams, the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Nobody said anything from the African Union. I mean, publicly declaring war.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is happening to this continent? In fact, the citizens of Africa have to understand that we've gotten to a point where all of us have to take an interest in the affairs of the African Union because they are killing the continent gradually. These are the things we're sitting up with. So basically, if you look at this track record, we know that in Ethiopia, African Union right now, the headquarters, we know that the workers are all complaining cronyism and bribery and sexual harassment against Faki Mahamat. They are coming up every day. And our leaders are sitting down and nobody is taking action. Are we going to give the continent of Africa into the hands of this guy for another 4 years? That is sad. So basically what we are saying is that from now, we are going to make sure that we reach every African seat of government and tell them we need 19 wise African leaders that will stand up for the continent and say, hell no, we are not going to vote until we see many faces on the ballot paper because that is not democratic. And that is what we're going to fight.
Okay. One final question. How are you planning? I will just give as a final question. I want to give you the floor. How to address the Africans, the citizens of Africa, both at home in the continent and in the diaspora, how they can be part of this campaign. I know that the goal for you for this agenda is to convince the leaders to come to their consciousness and to say no, and not to allow this insult to happen, not under their leadership, not to their people. But also, I think that if citizens of any member states can alert their own leaders might make a difference. So are you thinking of
exactly.
How do you how are you planning, you know, so that, you know, people who view this video, this interview, you know that how they can sensitize also their own leaders, you know? No, you have to say no for this.
Good. Very good. We're telling everybody in Africa, in the diaspora, everybody that has Africa at heart. First of all, let me thank all of them, because when we launched this campaign against, you know, the African Union elections, the way it had been scheduled, and we were asking for the postponement, we got the support of the entire continent of Africa and Africans in the diaspora especially. You remember, without them, we couldn't have obtained those 28 million votes that we got online. This time, we are not even launching an online petition. We are launching, you know, a direct petition to say that anybody that can reach the ear of his own head of state, the president in his own country, those are the ones that are going to vote. When your president goes there and sticks that vote for Faki Mahamat, he has sold all his citizens to Faki Mahamat and France. That is in reality what it is. He has sold them to Trump that can get up and say that I've taken one African country and I've given it to another.
Yeah.
Where is our sovereignty as a continent? So please, whatever it is that you can do in your own small way to let your leader know that if you go to the AU conference, the 34th summit of the AU conference, and you go and vote for Faki Mahamat as an unopposed candidate, you are giving Africa into his hands for the next 4 years. And every one of them, even our leaders, they know exactly what Faki Mahamat is going to do the next 4 years. By the time he is done, there will not be anything on the ground in Africa that we can be proud of. We all know it. So please, let's all join in this fight. This is not just for me or my organization alone. Anybody that believes in Africa, anybody that calls himself an African, this is something that we all have to get up and do in our own small ways. We know there are people that have the ears of their leaders in their various countries. Yeah. The pressure groups. Let's get up. Let's tell them we need 19 wise, committed African leaders to stand up for Africa. Between now and the first week of February, when the voting is done, we need leaders to stand up and be counted for Africa. And we need all the 1.3 billion people in Africa, all the 400,000 people in the diaspora to rise up and join forces with us. It is #Catch19 agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Advocate Sarfo. Really, that was a very insightful interview. And I really, for anyone who's going to watch this video, I really advise, as an African, if you want to leave, you know, a legacy, a good legacy for your future, for your children, for the sake of your children, you have to act now. I mean, it's in your own hand, it's in your consciousness, it's in your own, you know, yeah, you can do something, and it will mean something. That go and sensitize your own leaders. Say no, not on behalf of us. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, thank you very much, my sister. I hope that the message goes, you know, all around to everybody. We're going to continue. We're launching it here. Tomorrow we are on another platform. The whole of this week, every time, we are getting on all the major networks in the world, and we are pushing this message. No to Faki Mahamat. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Advocate Sarfo. Really, thank you. And hopefully we will meet again, and you will update us, you know, what's maybe as we approach to the summit or post-summit. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye too. Happy New Year again. Bye.